Have you ever truly paused, even for a moment, to observe the life unfolding all around you? Have you ever allowed yourself to just be without the rush to accomplish, without the pressure to achieve, without the constant pull of the next thing calling your name? In our modern lives, we are often so busy moving from one task to the next that we forget what it means to simply exist. We forget that life is happening now, not tomorrow, not when the next milestone is reached, but right here, in this very moment. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not merely a practice, it is a way of life. It is a sacred art, a living awareness that brings us back to ourselves again and again. The Buddha, more than 2,000 years ago, spoke of the fleeting nature of life. He compared it to a candle burning in the wind, its light bright and beautiful, yet so fragile, so impermanent. Every breath we take, every step we walk, every word we speak happens within this river of impermanence. And yet, how often do we truly notice it? Most of us live as if we have endless time. We live as if the days will stretch on forever. We delay our happiness. We postpone our peace, thinking that someday, perhaps when everything falls perfectly into place, then we will finally savor life. But that someday rarely comes. And in chasing it, we miss the profound gift that is offered to us right now. Mindfulness teaches us to return to this present moment. It is an invitation to wake up from the dream of distraction and be fully here, to listen deeply, to see clearly, to feel the texture of life brushing against our skin with every breath. When we are mindful, we are not lost in the regrets of yesterday or the anxieties of tomorrow. We are anchored, grounded in the only place where life actually unfolds, the now. Imagine, if you will, the simple act of breathing, something so ordinary, so automatic, that we barely give it a thought. But when you truly pay attention to your breath, the coolness as it enters your nostrils, the warmth as it leaves the subtle rise and fall of your chest, you begin to touch the miracle of existence. You realize that this breath, this seemingly small thing, is the very thread that connects you to life itself. Imagine walking down a familiar street, one you have traveled 1,000 times. But this time you walk slowly, mindfully. You notice the way the sunlight filters through the leaves, the delicate sound of birds calling in the distance, the scent of flowers carried by the breeze. Suddenly, this ordinary street becomes alive, vibrant, sacred. You are no longer rushing past it. You are living it. This is the heart of Buddhist practice. To be fully present, to meet each moment with an open heart and a clear mind. To live not from habit, but from awareness. To cherish the small, precious details that make up our days, rather than waiting for some grand event to bring us joy. Of course, this is not always easy. Our minds are restless. We are conditioned to strive, to want, to chase. But the Buddha teaches that true happiness does not lie in getting more, doing more, being more. True happiness arises when we are able to fully inhabit the life we already have. When we can sit with a simple cup of tea, feeling its warmth in our hands, and experience a quiet joy. When we can listen to a friend without needing to fix or change anything, simply offering our full presence. When we can appreciate a sunset not as a backdrop to our busy thoughts, but as a living painting, a gift from the universe. Mindfulness is the practice of loving life as it is, not waiting for it to meet our expectations, not trying to mold it into our fantasies, but meeting it tenderly, honestly, exactly where it is. And in doing so, we uncover a deep, abiding peace. There is a beautiful teaching in Buddhism that says, drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the whole earth revolves. What would it be like to live that way? To treat each moment, each encounter, each breath as sacred? To realize that you are not rushing towards some better version of life, but that life is happening right now beneath your feet, in your hands, in your very heartbeat? This shift in awareness is not something that happens overnight. It is a gradual unfolding, like a lotus blooming in the morning sun. It requires patience. It requires gentleness. It requires the willingness to fail, again and again, and yet to return with love to the present. When you practice mindfulness, you are practicing coming home, home to yourself, home to the world, home to the truth of life. And in that homecoming, you find that you are not alone. You are connected to all beings. You are part of a vast and beautiful web of life, intricate and precious beyond words. Mindfulness reminds us that we do not need to travel to faraway places to find wonder. We do not need to acquire great riches to experience abundance. Wonder is in the breath. Abundance is in the moment. Joy is in the act of opening our eyes, our ears, our hearts to what is already here. And so I invite you right now, as you listen to these words, to pause, to feel the weight of your body against the chair, to notice the gentle rhythm of your breath, to listen to the sounds around you without judgment, to be, simply be, fully and completely in this moment. For this moment is enough. This moment is life. This moment, if you allow it, holds all the peace, all the beauty, all the love you have been seeking. The Buddha did not promise us a life free from suffering, but he showed us a path through it, a path paved with mindfulness, compassion, wisdom, and presence. A path that invites us not to escape life, but to embrace it with all its joy and sorrow, its light and shadow. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to fix yourself. You need only to awaken to the miracle of who you already are, and to the miracle of the life that is unfolding, breath by breath, before your very eyes. As you continue your journey, remember this. Life is not something to be conquered. It is something to be cherished. And the doorway to a cherished life is mindfulness, the simple, sacred act of being here, now, with an open heart. May you walk gently upon this earth. May you savor each breath, each smile, each tear. May you live not in the hurried pursuit of tomorrow, but in the radiant fullness of today. This is the way of mindfulness. This is the way of true awakening. This is the gift the Buddha has handed down across centuries, a gift waiting for you to unwrap it, one precious moment at a time. In life, we often find ourselves holding on to things, whether it's possessions, memories, or expectations. It's almost as if we are clinging to life itself, fearing that if we let go, we will lose something that defines us. But in the teachings of Buddhism, we are encouraged to view this attachment in a different light. The Buddha, with his profound wisdom, told us that attachment is the root of all suffering. What does this really mean? It means that the suffering we experience in life often stems from our unwillingness to let go, from our tendency to grasp onto things, whether they are tangible objects, emotions, or even our desires and past experiences. Imagine just for a moment releasing the weight of those burdens you've been carrying for years. Picture yourself setting down the heavy loads of anger, fear, regret, and the incessant need to control. This is not a surrender to defeat. It is an act of freedom. In fact, it is the ultimate liberation. When we let go, we make room. Room for growth, room for peace, room for joy. There is a profound strength in this act of letting go, a strength that comes not from holding tightly to the past, but from embracing the present moment fully, without the constant need to cling. But letting go is not easy. It requires deep self-reflection and the courage to face what we have been holding on to for so long. We are often afraid that if we release, we will be left empty or lost. Yet, in the quiet stillness that comes with release, we discover that we are not losing anything at all. In fact, we are gaining something far more valuable. Inner peace. We are gaining the ability to be present, to truly be in the moment, free from the chains of the past and the anxieties about the future. In Buddhism, this practice of letting go is known as non-grasping. It is a key aspect of the Buddhist path to freedom, and it invites us to live fully without clinging to the fleeting moments or possessions that the world offers. Non-grasping doesn't mean that we give up our responsibilities or the things we cherish. It simply means that we release the attachment to them. We can still love, still care, and still be present, but without the overwhelming need to control or hold on to what we cannot keep forever. It is the understanding that everything in life is impermanent, that nothing lasts forever, and yet, in this impermanence, we find the greatest freedom. Letting go also means releasing the expectations we place on ourselves and others. We often tie our happiness to how well we think we are doing in life, whether it's in our careers, relationships, or our own personal journeys. We set goals, we chase dreams, and we strive for success, all the while building a life that we think will bring us happiness. But what happens when those goals don't materialize as expected? What happens when our relationships don't unfold the way we envisioned? We experience disappointment, frustration, and at times deep sorrow. But Buddhism teaches us that happiness does not lie in external achievements or the fulfillment of our expectations. True happiness arises from within, from the peace we create by letting go of the need to control outcomes. It is a reminder that our worth is not defined by what we achieve, but by our capacity to be present and content with who we are in the here and now. When we let go of the need for external validation and surrender to the flow of life, we begin to experience a deeper sense of peace, a peace that is not dependent on success, material possessions, or the approval of others. Letting go also allows us to heal. So often we hold on to past wounds, carrying them with us as if they are a part of who we are. The pain from past failures, broken relationships, or lost opportunities, it can shape how we view ourselves in the world. We become defined by our hurt, and in doing so, we create a story that we repeat over and over in our minds. But healing comes not from holding on to that pain, but from releasing it. When we let go of our attachment to our past suffering, we open ourselves up to the possibility of transformation. We create space for new experiences, for fresh perspectives, and for the healing that can only occur when we are no longer burdened by the weight of our past. It's important to understand that letting go doesn't mean becoming apathetic or indifferent. It doesn't mean that we stop caring about the things that matter to us. On the contrary, it means that we care deeply, but without the attachment that causes us to suffer. We can still love, still pursue our passions, and still invest ourselves fully in the world around us, but with the awareness that nothing is permanent. Everything is in a constant state of change, and when we accept this truth, we free ourselves from the need to control or resist it. We embrace the ebb and flow of life, understanding that each moment is precious precisely because it is fleeting. The Buddhist teachings remind us that life is impermanent, and our attachment to it only causes us to suffer. This suffering is not a punishment, but an invitation, a call to release what binds us and to step into a life of freedom. It's a reminder that true happiness is found not in the accumulation of things or achievements, but in the ability to let go. By practicing non-grasping, we learn to live fully, without fear or regret, embracing each moment as it comes. When we stop clinging to the past and the future, we begin to experience the richness of life in the present moment. This is where true peace resides. It is in the stillness of non-grasping that we find the freedom to be fully alive, to love without attachment, to give without expectation, and to live without fear. The practice of letting go is not a one-time event, but a continual process, a way of being that we can cultivate every day. So take a deep breath and ask yourself, what are you holding on to right now? What burdens are you carrying that no longer serve you? What are you ready to release? In this moment, you have the power to choose freedom. You have the power to let go and experience the peace that comes from living fully without attachment. It is in the act of letting go that we find the true essence of life, not in what we accumulate, but in how freely we allow ourselves to live. In the end, life is not about how long we live, but about how deeply we live. It's not about how many things we have, but about how present we are in the moments that matter most. And as we let go of the need to grasp, we open ourselves to the greatest gift of all, the gift of being fully, completely, and joyfully alive. Compassion lies at the core of Buddhism, not merely as a feeling of pity for others, but as a force of transformation that drives us to actively engage in actions that benefit those around us. It is the essence of the Buddhist teachings and a path we are all invited to walk. Buddhism teaches us that our actions, words, and even thoughts are interconnected with the world around us, creating a profound ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can immediately see. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the power to transform not only the recipient, but also the one who offers it. Imagine, if you will, a life where every interaction, every moment is infused with a deep sense of compassion. It may not always be grand gestures or acts of heroism. Instead, it's the small, often unnoticed moments. The smile you offer a stranger, the patient listening ear to a friend in need, the gentle touch that says more than words could express. These seemingly insignificant acts carry immense power to heal, to soothe, and to uplift. And it's in these quiet, subtle exchanges that compassion truly shines. The Buddhist teachings on compassion are not just philosophical ideals, but practical wisdom meant to guide us in everyday life. He often emphasized that to walk the path of compassion is to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings. We are not separate from each other, but part of a vast, intricate web that binds us together. Each life we touch, each action we take, creates an impact, whether positive or negative. What the Buddha calls us to do is to choose wisely, to act with mindfulness, and to cultivate compassion as a way of life. What does it mean to be compassionate in the Buddhist sense? It is not just about doing good deeds. It is about a deep and unwavering commitment to seeing the suffering of others and doing something to alleviate it. It is about cultivating empathy, stepping into someone else's shoes, and offering not only material help, but emotional and spiritual support as well. Compassion is born out of a profound understanding that we are all bound by the same human condition. We all experience joy, we all experience pain, and we all seek peace. In our fast-paced world, where we are often caught up in the hustle of daily life, it can be easy to overlook the needs of others. We may feel overwhelmed by our own struggles or lost in the noise of our own desires and ambitions. But Buddhism teaches us that true peace and happiness are not found by hoarding for ourselves or pushing others aside. Instead, they are found in the simple acts of kindness that we extend to others. The Buddha himself was the embodiment of compassion, and his life serves as a living testament to the transformative power of selfless love. The power of compassion is such that it creates a space of peace, not only in the lives of those we help, but in our own hearts as well. When we act with compassion, we let go of our own ego and open ourselves to the divine presence that resides within every being. Compassion transcends the barriers of race, religion, social status, and nationality. It is the universal language of the heart, one that speaks directly to the soul and creates bonds that cannot be broken. Consider the many ways in which compassion manifests in our daily lives. For example, when we listen to someone without judgment, when we offer a helping hand to someone in need, or when we simply choose to be kind in a world that often seems indifferent, we are sowing the seeds of peace. These seeds, when nurtured, grow into a flourishing garden of love, understanding, and harmony. And as they grow, they spread their fragrance, touching the hearts of those around us and creating a more compassionate world for all. But compassion does not stop at the individual level. As the Buddha taught, compassion extends to all beings, not just humans. It is a recognition that every living creature, from the smallest insect to the largest animal, deserves our kindness and respect. In this way, compassion becomes a path of awareness, an awareness that every life, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is valuable. Every act of compassion toward any being creates a world that is more peaceful, more loving, and more aligned with the true nature of reality. To live a life rooted in compassion is to embrace the present moment fully. It is about being mindful of the needs of others and responding with kindness in every situation. It is about learning to be patient, to let go of judgment, and to recognize that every person is doing the best they can with what they have. Compassion is not about fixing others or making them conform to our expectations. It is about holding space for them, offering them understanding, and allowing them to be as they are. In this way, we not only uplift others, but we also liberate ourselves from the chains of judgment and self-centeredness. The Buddha teaches us that true freedom comes when we let go of attachment, not only to material things, but to our own preconceived notions, our judgments, and our narrow views of others. Compassion invites us to open our hearts to the world, to be vulnerable and to give of ourselves freely without expecting anything in return. In doing so, we experience the profound joy that comes from living a life of purpose, of service, and of love. In the grand scheme of things, the impact of a single act of compassion might seem small, but when we consider that the world is made up of countless small acts, we begin to see how each one plays a role in the larger picture. Like a pebble thrown into a pond, the ripples of compassion spread outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully comprehend. And just as we are transformed by our acts of kindness, so too are those who receive them. As we continue on our journey, let us remember that compassion is not something we have to work hard to cultivate. It is already within us, waiting to be awakened. The Buddhist teachings serve as a gentle reminder to return to this inner wellspring of compassion and to let it guide us through every moment of our lives. Whether we are interacting with a friend, a stranger, or even someone who may have hurt us, we are called to meet them with kindness, understanding, and love. In Buddhism, the practice of compassion is not limited to just our actions. It extends to our thoughts and our words as well. When we think compassionately, when we speak with kindness, and when we act with mindfulness, we create a world that is more peaceful, more harmonious, and more aligned with the true nature of reality. Compassion, then, becomes not just a practice, but a way of life, one that leads us to a deeper understanding of who we truly are and the divine presence that exists within each of us. So let us strive to live with compassion in every moment. Let us choose to act with kindness, to offer our support to those in need, and to recognize the divine within every being. In doing so, we not only bring peace and healing to the world around us, but we also bring peace and healing to our own hearts. This, according to the Buddha, is the true path to happiness and enlightenment, a life lived in the service of others, guided by the light of compassion. As we journey through life, we find ourselves in the constant embrace of change. It is inescapable, like the seasons that shift with grace, the aging of the body, and the undulating tides that shape the world around us. Change is not just a fleeting moment. It is a force that moves through us, around us, and even within us. Yet, despite its inevitability, there is something about change that many of us fear. We fear the unknown, the unpredictability, and the loss of control. We cling to the familiar, to the security of what we know, and the thought of letting go can seem like a daunting challenge. But what if I told you that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace? What if I told you that it is through change that we discover the truest essence of life? In Buddhism, we are taught that change is not an enemy to be resisted. It is not a force to be fought against. Rather, it is a natural part of existence, a process that is as much a part of our journey as the moments of stillness and peace. The Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, spoke often about impermanence, the fleeting nature of all things. He reminded us that everything in the world, from the grandest mountains to the tiniest grains of sand, is in a state of constant flux. This is the nature of life. Nothing is permanent. Everything changes. And that is okay. We may find ourselves caught in the illusion of permanence, clinging to the belief that things should stay the same. We want to hold on to our youth, our health, our relationships, and our achievements. But life has a way of reminding us that nothing remains the same forever. Change is not a punishment. It is not something to be feared or avoided. Change is an invitation. It is an opportunity to grow, to evolve, and to become more than we ever imagined. When we learn to accept change, we open ourselves to the flow of life. Instead of resisting the natural rhythm of the universe, we learn to move with it. We find peace in the knowledge that every moment of change is a chance for growth. We find joy in the transformation, even when it comes with pain, loss, or discomfort. Because we know that change is not the end. It is the beginning of something new. Think about the cycles of nature. The seasons shift, one flowing into the next, each bringing its own unique beauty. The trees shed their leaves in the fall, only to sprout new ones in the spring. The flowers bloom, then wither, only to return again next year. The tide moves in, then pulls back, but the ocean remains constant. These cycles are not to be feared. They are to be celebrated. They remind us that change is a part of the larger, beautiful dance of life. In the same way, we are called to embrace our own cycles. As we age, our bodies change. Our hair may turn gray, our skin may wrinkle, and our energy may shift. But instead of fearing these changes, we can learn to embrace them as signs of wisdom and experience. With each year that passes, we gain new perspectives, new understandings, and a deeper connection to the world around us. Each wrinkle tells the story of a life lived fully, each gray hair is a testament to the lessons we've learned. Buddhism teaches us that it is in the acceptance of impermanence that we find true freedom. When we release our attachment to the way things are, we make space for the way things could be. This is the essence of mindfulness. It is the ability to stay present in the moment without clinging to the past or fearing the future. When we are present, we are able to fully experience the richness of life as it unfolds. We are not caught in the past, lamenting what we have lost, nor are we anxious about the future, worrying about what we might lose. Instead, we are free to live fully in the here and now with an open heart and an open mind. The Buddha also taught us that it is not the change itself that causes suffering, but our attachment to what is changing. We suffer when we resist the natural flow of life, when we refuse to let go of what no longer serves us. Holding on to the past, to old habits, to unfulfilled dreams, to relationships that no longer nourish us, these are the sources of suffering. But when we let go, when we release our grip, we make room for something new. We allow space for growth, for healing, and for the peace that comes with acceptance. This is the path of liberation. It is the path of letting go, of releasing our attachments, and of embracing the present moment. It is the path of recognizing that change is not the enemy, it is our ally. By embracing change, we embrace life itself. We allow ourselves to flow with the currents instead of struggling against them. We learn to trust in the wisdom of the universe, knowing that every change, every transition brings us closer to who we are meant to be. And so, as we move through our lives, let us remember that change is not something to fear. It is something to welcome. It is not something to resist, but something to flow with. Each moment of change is an opportunity for growth. Each moment is an opportunity to awaken to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Life is in constant motion, and we too must move with it. By embracing change, we unlock the fullness of our existence. We live more fully, more authentically, and more peacefully. In the end, it is not the length of our lives that matters, but the depth of our presence in each moment. And by embracing the ebb and flow of change, we are living fully, awakening to the beauty and wisdom of the present moment, and discovering that the greatest freedom lies in our ability to change with grace, to let go with peace, and to flow with the rhythm of life. In the fast-paced world we live in today, we often find ourselves caught in a never-ending cycle of thoughts, tasks, and worries. The constant rush for more, the hunger for success, the craving for validation, these things dominate our lives and often lead us away from the true essence of peace. But what if the key to peace was not somewhere out there in the future or in the achievements we strive for? What if the key to peace was something that lies deep within, waiting to be discovered in the stillness of our own hearts? This is where Buddhism comes in. Buddhism is not just a religion, it is a path, a way of living that teaches us how to find inner peace and harmony. At the core of Buddhist practice is meditation, a practice that transcends the simple act of sitting still. Meditation, in Buddhism, is not just a momentary escape from the chaos of the world, but a profound journey of self-discovery, transformation, and awakening. It is through meditation that we learn to silence the noise of the world and turn inward, allowing us to connect with the true nature of our being. Imagine for a moment a life where the mind is not constantly racing with thoughts. Imagine a life where we are not pulled in 1,000 directions by our responsibilities, our desires, and our fears. This is what meditation offers us, a chance to step back, to be still, and to find a deep sense of clarity and peace. In those moments of stillness, we can hear the whispers of our heart, the gentle voice of our soul, guiding us back to our true nature. When we meditate, we are not just sitting in silence. We are entering into a space of profound awareness. We learn to observe our thoughts without judgment, to simply watch them come and go like clouds passing through the sky. We begin to notice the patterns in our minds, the distractions, the cravings, the judgments, and slowly, with time and patience, we learn to let them go. It is in this process of letting go that we find freedom. Freedom from the endless chatter of the mind, freedom from the attachments that bind us, and ultimately, freedom from suffering. Buddhism teaches us that peace is not something we need to search for outside of ourselves. It is not something that can be found in material possessions or accomplishments. True peace comes from within. The Buddha himself said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." These words carry immense wisdom. They remind us that peace is not something that can be acquired or earned. It is something that already exists within each of us. It is a part of our true nature, waiting to be realized. In meditation, we return to this inner peace. We return to the heart, where compassion, love, and understanding reside. When we meditate, we are not just finding peace for ourselves, but we are connecting to the deeper wisdom that connects all beings. In the stillness of meditation, we realize that we are not separate from others, but deeply interconnected. As we find peace within ourselves, we begin to extend that peace outward to the world around us. We begin to see others not as separate, but as fellow travelers on the same path of life. Compassion arises naturally when we recognize the shared humanity in all beings. The heart that is peaceful and compassionate can extend love to everyone, regardless of their circumstances. But finding peace is not always easy. In a world that is filled with distractions, it can be difficult to quiet the mind. Our lives are constantly filled with noise, both external and internal. We are bombarded by the media, the opinions of others, and the expectations we place on ourselves. The mind is constantly busy, and it feels as though there is no escape. This is why meditation is so important. Meditation allows us to step out of the noise, even if it is just for a few moments. It gives us the space to reconnect with ourselves, to remember who we truly are beneath the layers of distractions and ego. In Buddhist meditation, the practice is often centered around mindfulness, the art of being present in the moment. In our busy lives, we rarely take the time to truly be present. We are constantly thinking about the past or worrying about the future. But when we meditate, we train our minds to stay in the present moment, to fully experience each breath, each sensation, each thought as it arises. It is in this presence that we begin to find clarity. When we are truly present, the distractions of the mind begin to fade away. We are able to see the world with fresh eyes, without the filter of our judgments, fears, and desires. Meditation is also a practice of letting go. In Buddhism, we are taught that attachment is the root of suffering. We cling to our possessions, our relationships, our achievements, and our desires. But these attachments only cause us pain when they are inevitably taken from us. Meditation teaches us to let go of our attachments, to release our grip on the things that no longer serve us. It is through letting go that we experience freedom. When we let go of our need for control, when we release our fears and anxieties, we create space for peace and joy to enter our lives. But letting go is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice. Every time we meditate, we are reminded to let go of the thoughts that arise, the judgments we make, the desires we chase. Each moment of letting go brings us closer to the peace that lies within. It is a practice that requires patience, kindness, and compassion toward ourselves. It is through the consistency of this practice that we begin to transform our minds and our hearts. The beauty of meditation is that it can be practiced anywhere, at any time. You do not need to retreat to a mountaintop or a secluded temple to find peace. You can find peace in the stillness of your own home, in a quiet corner of a busy street, or even in the midst of a hectic workday. Meditation is not about escaping the world, but about learning to be present with it. It is about bringing awareness and mindfulness to whatever you are doing, whether it is sitting quietly, walking, eating, or interacting with others. When we bring mindfulness into every moment, we begin to experience the sacredness of life itself. Through meditation, we awaken to the truth that peace is not something that can be found outside of us. It is something that comes from within. It is in the quiet moments, the stillness of the mind, that we reconnect with our true nature. As we cultivate inner peace through meditation, we begin to radiate that peace out into the world. Our hearts become a source of compassion, our actions become more mindful, and our presence becomes a gift to those around us. This is the path to true peace, the path that leads us back to the heart, where love, wisdom, and serenity reside. So let us meditate. Let us take the time to be still, to let go, and to reconnect with the divine within. For in this stillness, we find the peace that transcends all understanding. And in this peace, we find the key to a life of joy, compassion, and true freedom.